my epiphany to be 10x. So today we are talking about going 10x and how you can 10x your business. And this is one of the key takeaways that has brought me into the 10x rule of my business. The 10x rule of my business is that how do you grow your business into 10 times what it was? And many people will do a book summary and summarize this book, the 10x rule, with the key takeaways from those books. But I don't like book summaries because I believe that an AI tool can do book summaries. I like epiphanies and experiences, key takeaways that are different from what you got in the book. Like you might read a book about the automatic millionaire, for instance, about how to automate your savings. But you get a different epiphany from the book than what was written in the book. And that's what I want to share with you today. So that's why we have titled this video, My Epiphany to be 10x. So if you want to 10x your business, two key takeaways I got from that book is that there is a time where some people call it bending of time, or a time where you concentrate on making your product known. Somebody like Steve Jobs calls it the bending of time, where your key concentration and obsession is making your product and your brand and yourself known, that you are able to achieve in a short time what most people are not able to achieve in a long time. You are able to achieve in 5 years what many companies are not able to achieve in 50 years. And it takes obsession. And that's why Grant Cardone will tell you, the author of this 10x book, that obsession is a gift. There must be a time that you are so obsessed about your product and your product quality and your brand uniqueness that you are able to expand and show it to the world. And that's the place I call the influence of belief. That obsession is an obsessive belief in your project, your product, and your business that jumps out onto other people and begins to influence those people. It's like the Big Bang theory. You bang on the belief of your product that it creates an explosion that permeates the hearts of other people and permeates the world. And that's what Steve Jobs did, that Apple permeated our world and our hearts so much that no matter what Apple does now, there's still that perception that Apple is supreme, because Steve Jobs so obsessed about the supremacy of the quality of Apple that he was able to sell that idea through influence by absolute obsessive belief in that idea and working like a madman to ensure that that idea spreads. These guys did the same thing. Airbnb. There was a time that Airbnb was so obsessed about Airbnb spreading that he was even personally paying off people that had complaints about payment, because he just wanted more and more people to see that this thing works. And now Airbnb has gone so global because there was that time of obsession and expansion and working like a madman to get it spread as much as possible. And the second key takeaway is the power of media. The power of media. You must look for a media or a medium that you most believe that people will know most about you, and beat on that medium with so much obsession that that medium will get to know you. If it's social media, if other people are doing 10 posts, you should target to do 100 posts. If other people are doing 10 ads, you should target to do 100 ads, so that you are so ubiquitously everywhere that people cannot ignore you. So you must choose a medium that you push so much that everybody in that medium will know about you. And for my business, the obsession stage for me is when, as the mayor of housing, I found out that we can deliver better living spaces than any other brand in Africa. And we became obsessed with it and started hitting on that gradually that is beginning to permeate the African environment. The second is online news media. I made sure that we were always in the news every week in Rivers State. It's not possible to have news in Rivers State for a week and not have the mayor of housing and my Ace China in the news, because we now became larger than our business and started to project the business of the state, the business of tourism in the state, the business of investment in the state, so much so that we have become an authority in the news medium of the state. And with these two, guess what? We are about to curate a sustainable, green, smart city that has not even started. We've not even broken ground. We are still at the land documentation stage and the pre-launch promo stage. But our brand has gone global. That national newspapers, The Guardian you'll see this news attached to this video. The Guardian named yours successfully as one of the 50 award-winning professionals that are moving the economy in Nigeria on 1st October this year. And just now, I'm coming out from a TV interview where I was interviewed because I'm one of the people that the Global Advancement Achievement Merit Award, the Global Achievement Merit Award by the Quest Global, yours sincerely was one of the people that was chosen. And I've never gone global. I have been locally doing my business with that obsession and dominance of the global media that even before we start, the globe has us to reckon with. So in conclusion, one key takeaway you take from this video before I share excerpt of that River State television video appearance with you is that, number one, become so obsessed about your business that nobody can ignore you. And then number two, 10x what you do in a particular medium about your business, because the greatest liability your business has is obscurity. If nobody knows about you, nobody buy you. Join me as we jump into RSTV and see the interview I just had. But remember, if we don't know you, we won't buy you.
The Quest for the Helpless Initiative NGO, organizers of the Quest Gamma Awards, recognizes the exemplary individuals and organizations who have contributed to the development of humanity. These dignitaries from both local and global stages are honored for their selfless contributions to the advancement of society and the betterment of the human race. They are President of America, Joe Biden, President of France, Emmanuel Macron, UBA Group Chairman, Mr. Tony Elumelu, Mr. My Ace China, CEO of the Mayor of Housing, Dr. Samuel Obuku, MD, NDDC, Mike Adenuga, Chairman, Globacom Limited, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, Pastor E.A. Adeboye, and Pastor Kenneth Copeland. The event comes up on the 15th of December 2024 at the Admiralty Conference Center, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. Time, red carpet, 4 p.m. Event proper, 6 p.m. The Quest Global Advancement Merit Awards, Gamma 2024, recognizing the change makers of our time. Powered by TSS Oil and Gas International, Kekes Foods Industry, the Mayor of Housing, and TSS Multimedia International Limited.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to this very, very beautiful day. It's good to be here. My name is Gugu Iyala, and it's 1st of November 2024. How time flies. I remember sitting down here, this year in the beginning and telling you Happy New Year. And now we're going towards Feliz Navidad, Christmas time again, and then the year will just run out. This morning we are going to talk about a whole lot of interesting things, but the number one thing that makes people spend money, in this city what makes living in the city difficult, hard, and should I say, quite challenging? Housing. There are three basic needs of man. He needs housing, he needs food, he needs clothing. And so if you have housing, then you can take care of clothing, and you can also take care of feeding. These are the three basic things all over the world. And today I have a man here who has dedicated his life to providing housing to people all over the world, beginning from Nigeria, starting from Abuja. Now he's in Port Harcourt, and he wants to provide housing for you at very, very affordable, comfortable, rate and environment. We call him my East China, the mayor of housing. And the mayor of housing is here with us, and the mayor of housing has gone very far. He's going to get an award soon from Quest Global, alongside people like Elumelu and Co. So you know how important that award is, and how well he has been recognized. So, you're welcome, my East China. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, Yala. Thank you, viewer. It's such a pleasure to be here. And when you mentioned 1st of November, I just discovered how doubly pleasurable it is to be here on the first day of the 11th month of the year. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so you look good.
Thank you. It's my Fula Friday, so every Friday I wear my Fula so that I can look like the moving Malam Mayor.
Okay, so you look quite young. So what motivated you to go into provide, to the housing business, to the built environment? And what's your experience like?
Okay, my experience has been quite illuminating. Let me use that word, because some of the things I never thought about before going into the industry, I was able to discover serendipitously while practicing in the industry, and that led to my a quote that practice perfects planning. Some of the things you don't plan for, when you start practicing, you see some perfection of your hitherto plans. And the first thing that made me go into housing was security. I surprisingly am a medical lab scientist, licensed till date. I resigned from medical practice in 2007 to learn business because where I was working, the owner of that establishment told me it was successful not because he was a medical doctor, but because he was a good businessman. So I wanted to be a good businessman, to make enough money to at least afford one or two people free medical treatment, because it was breaking my heart that people without deposits, some people were not treated and were dying. So, but when I went into business, I went into a lot of business, oil business and others, and lost a lot of money because I was very naive. So while losing a lot of money, I got obsessed with the concept of security. And while doing a retreat, I asked myself, what is the singular industry that ties every other industry in the world together? And I said finance. What do financial people ask you for as security when you go to borrow money from finance? Iyala. Property collateral. Why do they do that? I used to think that real estate was real because it is tangible and is real, you can see it, but I got an epiphany that made me know that land is indestructible.
Yeah.
If you buy a land, for instance, in a part of Port Harcourt, let's say Aba Road, for 10 million naira, and you build a house of 20 million on it, that's 30 million. Let's take 10 years from that time, that house gets burnt to the ground. The ashes on that ground, that land is still worth maybe 50 million, more than even the original land price and the building price 10 years later. So land is indestructible. No matter what happens, even if there is an earthquake, there will still be a land. So that intrinsic security was what led me to real estate. And then I got to discover that we had 18 million housing deficit in 2018. And that became my obsession, because problems is money. If you solve problem, you make money. And the size of the problem determines the size of the money. And the only thing I like more than money is big money. So seeing that big problem of 18 million housing deficit in 2018 made me passionate about trying to solve housing problems. And guess what? Between 2018 and 2024, that has grown from 18 million housing deficit to 24 to it's between 24 and 28 million housing deficit in Nigeria right now. So that became my lifetime obsession and calling.
Interesting. That was quite smart. Anyway, well, then you're trying to solve problems.
Yes.
And the population is growing.
Yes.
And the housing provision is not growing as fast as the population.
Yes.
So there'll be more and more deficit as we
Yes.
go on, unless we have people like you, more people like you, and the government also takes provision of housing seriously. So okay, you're in River State.
Yes.
The governor is trying to provide housing for River State. There's one at Alo that he's doing with what's his name?
TAF Global.
TAF Global, and then another recently
Newport City in LMA
and all that. So how do you what's your view about these plans by the government, and how do you plan to keep into it?
If I was to give an award, I don't own an award outfit. Unfortunately, I'm receiving one from Quest Global. But if I was the one giving the Gamma Award, I'll reserve a special award for Governor Siminalayi Fubara for what I'll call the icon of development. Personally, I have called him two things. I've called him the legend of continuity and the icon of development. The icon of development because he's the first governor in the history of River State and probably in the history of the federal government or any state in the nation to be able to undertake almost 30,000 housing units in one tenure. The low-cost housing unit, the Greater Taft City in the new Greater Port Harcourt, in PPP partnership with TAF Global, is a 20,000 housing units. And the model he has adopted is a prescribed sustainable model. The prescribed sustainable model is that government should not do business. In fact, government has no business in business. Government's business in business is collaboration and regulation. So the model that works is public-private partnership, which the governor has adopted to its perfection. And it didn't just take a public practitioner, because what kills most PPP is when government take politically interested people that will not deliver on the project and make them the partner, and it ends up being a public political partnership instead of a public-private partnership. This governor has shown intention to deliver by choosing the two most pre-qualified private companies in River State. My first estate was built in Abuja, in Gusape, Abuja. Coming into River State, I'm like a startup here in River State. The two people the government has given a PPP project have shown qualification by building something privately first. TAF Global are the people that build golf estates. So they've shown industry qualification by building privately what they could do, because that partnership, you should show us what you've done privately
Show
before.
your capacity.
Yes, your capacity privately before we can engage you publicly. Then the second Newport City being undertaken by Heritage Garden. Heritage Gardens are the guys that built a Reef Court estate. I know all this because they are all my colleagues and friends. So showing his private capacity by building Reef Court, the government rewarded him by giving him the Newport City PPP. Showing his capacity by building golf estates, the government rewarded him by the Greater Taft City estate. I am building the Alessa Highlands Sustainable Smart City. That's my private capacity. I assure you, in the next 1 or 2 years, I'll be back here because the government will be rewarding me with my own PPP after the Alessa. So it shows continuity, it shows predictability. And then even the whole federal government housing scheme for the 36 states or 37 states, including the Abuja, is 50,000. But only the Newport City is about 10,000. The Taft City is about 30,000, 20,000. That's 30,000 in one state. I don't think any other governor has had the lever to do that. And Governor Sim Fubara has just opened up River State to be the next destination haven for housing development. And I'm so excited. If I had my way, I'll be giving him an award. And then I mentioned him as a continuity legend. This is the first governor in the history of the government of Rivers State that have not only continued the projects of the previous government that are even fighting him, he has gone as far as even completing projects started by as far back as Odili's tenure, that was 3 tenures before him, or 24 years before him. And there is no other governor in the history of Rivers State that has done that. And if continuity was a continuum in government, we won't have abandoned project. So for me, Simnalari Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, deserves an award for housing development and for continuity.
Interesting, you know, just to remind you, recently he won the award of being the best manager of resources.
Yes, because he's like, just like he did in housing, he took people that have shown capacity in their private practice. The governor is an accountant, and if an astute accountant becomes a governor and he can't account for the resources of Rivers State, then that means he's not living up to his bidding. The truth about Rivers State is, these are auspicious times for Rivers State, but because of the few individuals making noise about political crisis,
hit the city of
a lot is happening on the ground in Rivers State that is not being sung in praises, that when all this settles down, people will just discover, wow, so all these beautiful things have been happening in the state. And this governor has shown the greatest intention, because he has all the excuse in the world not to work because of this crisis. But despite the crisis, he's working.
Okay, so that's great. You know, congratulations to the governor. At least to have this kind of assessment from a private man like you.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about you more. You know, you're going to housing. Yes, you mentioned the housing. You said it's going to be the next Banana Island in Nigeria.
Yes.
The one you want, you're trying to set up in
Alessa. Yes.
So how many hectares of land is involved, and how many units of housing? You know, what's the model? What are you building? Are you are they going to be bungalows, or they're going to be, you know, story buildings, and who are expected to inhabit those places?
Good. I was very excited when the government launched the 20,000 low-cost housing estate, and fortunately for the River State people, that's where the most of the housing deficit in River State is. There are about 7 million people living in River State, and there should have been enough housing in River State for those 7 million people, but this 7 million are clustered within the city center of Port Harcourt, because River State happens to be like a one city central state where everybody wants to live in Port Harcourt. And of the 7 million, almost 5 million of them are living in Port Harcourt. And many of them, maybe like Iyala, might have a house in Ogoni, 3-bedroom flat in Ogoni, but he moves to the city center to come and make a living and doesn't have a house in the city center. So it makes the housing deficit in Port Harcourt very high. And it is so high that even luxury houses are in demand, that some of the expatriates, we notice, work in Port Harcourt but live in Lagos or Abuja. So there was need for a very secured, high-browed luxury estate with security and peace of mind. So what we are building there is called the Alessa Highlands Sustainable Green Smart City. That is a highbrow alternative to the low cost towards the
people from all over the world
area, which is the Greater Taft City. Yeah. And it's about 70 hectares of land, and it's going to house very luxury, smart estates with buildings. There will be high-rise and there will be bungalows. Not just bungalows, there will be bungalows with a lot of green space, so that there will be greenery, there will be a green wall of trees to filter the air coming into the estate. It will be the lowest density estate in Nigeria, which the density means the percentage of land that is built up. Yeah, so in a plot, maybe only 20% will be the house, the 80% will be greenery and the environment. It's going to be the first estate in Nigeria that will have alternative power that is cheaper than NEPA. Yes, because we are using a green power source that is new, novel, and cheaper than NEPA.
Sustainable.
Yes, very sustainable. Green, sustainable, and environmental friendly. It's a green, sustainable, green, smart estate. So everything about it will be green. It will be the first, apart from other things like a small clinic that will be inside, playground. This will be the first estate that will have a modern library for the residents, because sometimes we have children within our estates that if they have to go for their lessons and their schools, they have to go outside. Because we can't provide a schools that caters for everybody, because people have different preference for schools, we're going to have a library and reading place that caters for everybody, so that you are taking your laundry will be done, everything will be done there. And the idea is that it's even going to have a helipad.
Okay.
Yes, for expatriates to land and go in and come out. The idea is that we don't want our expatriates working in Rivers State and living in Lagos. Do you know where people live determines 70% of their expenditure?
Yeah.
You spend 30% of your expenditure at work and 70. Those people that are working in Rivers State and living in Lagos, 70% of the money they earn from Rivers State goes to where they live. So we want that money to remain here. And this estate will be something else, because a lot of ultra modern technology will come in there. But more than technology, the fear of technology is usually, is it eco-friendly? This will be a green, eco-friendly estate.
Okay, quite interesting. You said it's smart, which means that, what's a smart city all about? The smart city meaning that internet is not going to be a problem.
No.
It's going to be provided everywhere in the city and all that. And then, it's going to be land greenery and all that.
Yes.
So we're talking about, how about, facilities like there could be young men around there, some basketball and
yes,
stuff like that.
sports will be full sports facilities. Let me give you an example. We go from the known to the unknown.
Yeah.
Our sports facility is going to be akin to a modern version of the Charlie's Fitness Center we have in Port Harcourt.
Yeah.
That will be our sports facility, and a lot of other facilities will be there. In fact, we'll talk more about the facilities after this break.
Okay, so we'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about the facilities that we're going to be provided at that beautiful estate we're talking about. Don't go away.
Something big has hit the city of Port Harcourt and about to quickly spread throughout Africa. Behold, my Ace China, the mayor of housing and your real estate success strategist.
If you build in a location that is not attractive for immigration into that location, you will have empty houses. You want to be able to not only keep them, but attract people from all over the world to come and live in Port Harcourt, thereby making my houses occupy. Secondly, lands that are no longer in production is a finite and definite asset. What makes the value of land increase is the amount of traffic heading and searching for that land. If very few people want to come to River State, our lands will be almost worthless. But if the whole world wants to come to River State, you're going to make my land the most desirable and valuable land in the world.
Call him now on 0809 337 8525 or visit www.themayorofhousing.com and also follow Value on social media www.facebook.com/my Ace China, at my Ace_China on Instagram and Twitter, www.linkedin.com/my Ace China, and www.youtube.com/my Ace TV. Housing for all, your right to live.
The Quest for the Helpless Initiative NGO, organizers of the Quest Gamma Awards, recognizes the exemplary individuals and organizations who have contributed to the development of humanity. These dignitaries from both local and global stages are honored for their selfless contributions to the advancement of society and the betterment of the human race. They are President of America, Joe Biden, President of France, Emmanuel Macron, UBA Group Chairman, Mr. Tony Elumelu, Mr. My Ace China, CEO of the Mayor of Housing, Dr. Samuel Obuku, MD, NDDC, Mike Adenuga, Chairman, Globacom Limited, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, Pastor E.A. Adeboye, and Pastor Kenneth Copeland. The event comes up on the 15th of December 2024 at the Admiralty Conference Center, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. Time, red carpet, 4 p.m. Event proper, 6 p.m. The Quest Global Advancement Merit Awards, Gamma 2024, recognizing the change makers of our time. Powered by TSS Oil and Gas International, Kekes Foods Industry, the Mayor of Housing, and TSS Multimedia International Limited.
All right, welcome back. Before we went on that break, we were talking about, the housing estate coming up at Alisalemi, the Alisa Island, and it's going to be a smart city, smart city. So everything everything that's going to make life easy and smart for you is going to be there. Some of the doors are going to be auto, all of them are going to be auto operated. Probably the security system is going to be like maybe eye recognition, or
voice recognition,
fingerprint recognition, and things. So the security is going to be tight there. I know what smart city is like, so I know I know what to expect, and then the great thing about it is that there's going to be power all the time.
Yes.
And power is going to be green.
Yes.
So which means there will be no pollution.
No.
So when you have power, then you can do so many things. Yes. And for the guys around there that like to be on the net, So you were talking about a library for
yes, there will be library for students because we take mental development very seriously. If I talk about this project in the next 1 hour, I won't be leaving this place. And as a matter of fact, you could see how animated I became before the break when you started talking about infrastructure, because I tell people the difference between a land and a land is infrastructure. So I'm just going to talk about three things: sports and environment and security, because if I go into all aspects, we won't live here. For sports, part of the places that have impressed us in Port Harcourt is the Charlie's Fitness Center on Stadium Road, that has an indoor sports facility of almost everything in one place. Imagine a bigger, ultra-modern version of Charlie's Fitness Center sitting in the heart of an estate. That's what we are going to have: swimming pools, basketball, squat, all kinds of sports and fitness facilities in one place. And not just the fitness facilities, but one thing we discovered about fitness facilities is that the trainers are more important than the equipment. Yes. So as estate residents, when you sign up for the gym, you have a trainer assigned to you that if he doesn't see you in the gym on a particular day, he can call your apartment and say, why are you not here? And there will be follow-up for you too. The feeding regimen, he can monitor you and help you to be fit. Your children have lesson tutors in the library that, apart from their reading regimen, they have lesson classes in addition to their school classes, that for people taking responsibility, because responsibility is the most important thing for discipline.
Are you going to have swimming coaches too?
Yes, we'll have coaches, we'll have karate club, because we discovered that children that grow up with physical exercises like karate and martial arts are more intelligent than the ones that are physically non-motile. So we're going to have all that.
You can have several smart Chinese people?
Yeah, we're not going to, we're going to have Nigerians. Because when the Chinese will start speaking ni hao, you will be like, which one will be ni hao? So we're having Nigeria. The best of Nigeria will be there. The best of Nigerian exports will be there, because that will be an environment where we interface between our indigenous people and the expatriate. And then in terms of greenery, our inspiration is the Shell RA. Yeah. Shell RA was built more than 60 years ago. Yeah. But if you even drive into it, there's still that awe-inspiring greenery that makes for Shell RA. That's how green our estate will be, and better. And then for security, we're having threefold security. We're having a wall of trees that filters the air and keeps out people, because the trees will be so close to each other. It's called a green wall around the estate, which is the immediate wall. Then there is a brick wall, the normal brick wall, around that behind the tree wall. And then there is a smart wire gauze wall around the brick wall. The wire gauze is pressure sensitive and breach sensitive. What it means is that if you cut it with a plier, it will set an alarm in the whole estate and the nearest police station. And we are also relocating the element area command to close to that estate so that there will be security. It blows up an alarm in the police station, then in the security office of the estate, and in the computer it will show you the particular part of the wall that was breached. If there is pressure, if somebody is trying to pull it up, then alarm will go off. And that extra mesh security is just the smart part of the security, so that before you even get to the fence and get to the trees, an alarm has gone off, and within the estate there won't be need for high walls again, because there is already a high wall around the perimeter. There will just be beautiful flowery hedges. And for horticulture, we have a green architect, and we're going to have green three-fold horticulture. Horticulture for medicine, it means that some of your flowers that will be like dogoyaro for your medicinal and lemongrass for your medicinal use. Some of the horticulture are going to be for food. Mangoes, guava. If you were growing up, you remember all those fruit-bearing trees will be there. Good. Then the third one will be horticulture for beauty, queen of the night, nice flowers, so that those three things, food, medicine, and beauty, will be covered with the horticulture, so that around your environment, there are even plants that repel snakes and reptiles. They will be intentionally planted around your environment so that you have a green, safe environment. Then for power, we took us a lot of work to get a company that is able to deliver hydrogen power that is green, zero carbon emission. Even our cooking gas will be smart. There will be no cylinders in that estate. Your cooking gas is already piped to your house and smartly metered. You buy your cooking gas with your phone, and all these, they are already on standby. I will be seeing all these very soon. I remember I told you that by the time we deploy this, the state government will be waiting for my own PPP.
Interesting. So guys, if you're watching this program, I have here with me my Ace China. My Ace China, you know, is also known as the mayor of housing, and this is part of the plan he has for the new estate coming up at the Alisa Island, right?
Yes.
So and you can see the plans he has for it there. It's going to be a smart, a smart city within a city. And I guess the state government is also trying to make part of Port Harcourt smart, because I hear that they are going to do some kind of some facelift for Port Harcourt town and Geo, part of the they call it gerontology or something. I forgot that. So they're going to do something like that to make the Port Harcourt look more beautiful, more habitable, and easier to live in. So of course, my guest here also has been recognized, by the organizations, for his effort, for what he has done, and they are going to give him an award. We'll talk about that award, and then people are going to take the award alongside with him. And I know that he's still looks quite young. I bet when I left secondary school, he was still. When I left university, he's probably still in primary school. Because I read the profile. I was in Jos, at the TV college.
Lovely, lovely. Oh. Apart from being the mayor of housing, I'm also the prince of J Town. So you are welcome to Jos anytime.
So I read the profile. I said, oh, this guy was in Jos, probably in primary school when I was in Jos.
Yes.
But then, if life was made it that you guys are going to meet, you will meet.
Yes.
And once again, I say welcome to RSTV and for all that you're doing. But let's talk about the award, because Global is giving you a Gamma Award, which is Global Achievement
Merit
Award. Awards these are bought. Or not all awards are bought, but some of the awards are bought People want, especially politically motivated awards. People want to be recognized, people want to be known, so they go behind the scenes and then sponsor the awards and stuff like that. So, but your case appears to be different because looking at the caliber of people being awarded alongside you, the NDDC boss is going to be there.
Yes, the NDDC boss will be there. The owner of Globalcom, Mr. Denuga himself will be there. Tony Elumelu will be there.
So,
the president of France will be there. So this award is one of the most humbling and embarrassing awards I've gotten so far. This year, 2 awards actually embarrassed me and also spiritually and eternally motivated me.
Uplifted you.
Yes, we are in a social media age. That's the age of media, where if not for media, recently a boat driver was assaulted. If not for the power of media, nobody would have known. But I was even shocked when I saw that news in a global news outlet in India. That news got all the way to India, and I'm sure it got to US and everywhere. Just something that happened privately between a boat driver and a House of Rep member. What we have been doing locally here in Port Harcourt and what we've done in Abuja, we were so surprised that they are getting the recognition of global outfit. Like the first award I got was one of the 50 award-winning professionals that are moving the economy forward by Guardian newspaper. Guardian newspaper is a national newspaper. When they called me and said you have been chosen as one of the people moving the economy forward, I was shocked because all I've been doing has been in Alessa, in Port Harcourt. I sponsor events, I do community development, I am passionate about the youth, I do youth development, CSR. We are the first company in Nigeria that are so big on CSR that we are scaling CSR. We are not waiting till when we have made it to start CSR. In our fledgling stage, we are doing fledgling CSR. As we grow, our CSR grows. So we didn't know that those things were being noticed. So when Quest Global called me and contacted me that I've been chosen as one of the people that will receive an award, I felt it was like any other award. But when I saw the personalities there, I called them again and said, are you sure you have the right, my Ace China? That all I've been doing have been in River State. All I've been doing has been in Port Harcourt, in Alessa. I was given an award of a hero of development by the Alessa community last year, December. And we are the first company in 27 years history of Alessa that are getting an award before we even start our project. We've not started that project. We were just acquiring the land. But while acquiring the land, we did so much for the community that we're given an award. So that those news has filtered around to get to Quest Global is humbling and embarrassing to me, and that I will be placed on the same pedestal like people like Elumelu Adenuga, the MD of NDDC, is humbling and challenging that the little things you do, people can take note of it. If the little altercation between a boat driver and a honorable member, the whole world took note. The little CSR you do to the next person to you, you might think it has gone unnoticed, but you will be surprised with this age of media how far it will go. So that has made me to even say that in this age of media, altruism has become selfishness, because when we were doing these things, we were just doing them altruistically for no reward. But now that this award is coming, it's as if we're now selfish for helping people. Because we never have dreamt of this level of recognition at this stage. We're hoping when the smart city is ready and making waves, we can now get. But if at this stage we're getting this award, it's only on the back of one thing: people. And I have a quotation that people are more important than properties, because people bring properties, people bring Gamma Award, but properties don't bring people, and properties don't bring Gamma Award. So we are here purely on the basis of people, and it's the Rivers people, the Port Harcourt people, and the young people, because 60% of the population of Nigeria is young people, and I don't play with them because they have the energy. They have some of the connections you don't know. How this got to Quest Global, I'm sure it's one young man or young lady somewhere that projected us. So we are so humbled.
Interesting. Congratulations in advance.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
so we're running up right now. So I'd like to ask, why did you choose River State, and then also what has been your experience in doing business in River State?
You've just hit the most important question for the last. You are like God. They say the best wine came at the last. Man, I discovered River State serendipitously. We were in Abuja. We're the first company in Nigeria to build residential estate with rooftop private swimming pool on each unit. We were the first residential developers that went into smart buildings and automations. We believe that if anything is possible in Dubai or any part of the world, it's possible in Nigeria. So somebody just called me up and said, oh, there is an estate coming up in Port Harcourt, Reef Court Estate. I would like you to partner. In 2021, I came in and I shouted, I called my partners, I said, this place is so virgin, nothing is happening here. This is a beautiful place for us to come and build. They said, no, security, that they were told that place is insecure. I said, no, I'm in the place and nothing is happening. It's secured, it's nice, the food is nice, the people have all the culture and the tourism. River State has 150 times the tourism of Lagos and Abuja, because Lagos has this popular Eyo festival that is like one festival of all. River State has 150 beautiful, colorful festivals. Abuja probably has one Gwari festival. River State has different blue and riverine tributaries and beautiful landscapes that, in terms of real estate, when land is juxtaposed by a waterfront lands are premium.
Yes.
I came to River State. It's in River State I saw waterfront lands were ghettos. And I was happy because I was like, we're going to turn the ghettos into the VIs and VIP lands. So River State is so landlocked and so beautiful that the potential has not yet been exploited. And I saw so much beauty here that I called my office in Abuja and said, I am relocating to Port Harcourt. And then when the state government decided to build a bridge connecting the hitherto beautiful Piccadilly to the Alessa Eleme area, I said, this is going to be the new Banana Island, because the waters that goes around that Kidney Island and that place, I knew, because Piccadilly is like the VI or the Lekki of Port Harcourt, and that place is going to be like the new Banana Island. I told my company, come. They said they are not coming, that the place is not secure. I now took the onus on myself, called other partners, and here we are today. River State has so much treasure that the treasure in River State is not the oil. The treasure is the Yala, the Fubaras, the people that have got this culture, this hospitable cuisine, this variety. I've never seen such immensity of variety living harmoniously. Sometimes you don't know the difference between when you have entered Ogoni and when you have entered Opobo in terms of the people, but in terms of the culture, you see a different festival in Ogoni, a different festival in Opobo, but they are all living on the same stretch of environment, and it's so beautiful that River State is the next treasure that the world needs to discover. And guess what? I'm so happy because before the world even come, I have already come and I have discovered River State. I'm so excited.
Thank you and welcome for coming around.
Thank you very much.
And as far as we can go on this side of the program, stay tuned for more programs coming to you from RSTV. My name is Gugu Eyala, and I say bye-bye for now.
The Quest for the Helpless Initiative NGO, organizers of the Quest Gamma Awards, recognizes the exemplary individuals and organizations who have contributed to the development of humanity. These dignitaries from both local and global stages are honored for their selfless contributions to the advancement of society and the betterment of the human race. They are President of America, Joe Biden, President of France, Emmanuel Macron, UBA Group Chairman, Mr. Tony Elumelu, Mr. My Ace China, CEO of the Mayor of Housing, Dr. Samuel Obuku, MD, NDDC, Mike Adenuga, Chairman, Globacom Limited, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, Pastor E.A. Adeboye, and Pastor Kenneth Copeland. The event comes up on the 15th of December 2024 at the Admiralty Conference Center, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. Time, red carpet, 4 p.m. Event proper, 6 p.m. The Quest Global Advancement Merit Awards, Gamma 2024, recognizing the change makers of our time. Powered by TSS Oil and Gas International, Kekes Foods Industry, the Mayor of Housing, and TSS Multimedia International Limited.
Something big has hit the city of Port Harcourt and about to quickly spread throughout Africa. Behold, my ace China, the Mayor of Housing and your real estate success strategist.
If you build in a location that is not attractive for immigration into that location, you will have empty houses. You want to be able to not only keep them but attract people from all over the world to come and live in Port Harcourt, thereby making my houses occupied. Secondly, lands are no longer in production. It is a finite and definite asset. What makes the value of land increase is the amount of traffic heading and searching for that land. If very few people want to come to River State, our lands will be almost worthless. But if the whole world wants to come to River State, you're going to make my land the most desirable and valuable land in the world.
Call him now on 0809 337 8525 or visit www.themayorofhousing.com and also follow Value on social media www.facebook.com/my ace China, at my ace_China on Instagram and Twitter, www.linkedin.com/my ace China, and www.youtube.com/my ace TV. Housing for all, your right to live.
The Quest for the Helpless Initiative NGO recognizes exemplary individuals and organizations who have contributed to the development of humanity. They are His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor, Lagos State. His Excellency Sheriff Oboroweri, Governor, Delta State. His Excellency Yusuf Abbas, Governor, Kano State. Mr. Aliko Dangote, Chairman, Dangote Group. Mr. Paul Kagame, President, Rwanda. Right Honorable Anthony Alburns, Australia. Right Honorable Christopher Luxon, New Zealand. The event comes up on the 15th day of December 2024 at the Admiralty Conference Center, Victoria Island, Lagos. Time 6 p.m. For sponsorship and advertisement, call 0809-273-7078. Supported by the Mayor of Housing, TSS Multimedia International Limited, Kekes Food Industry, and Tesco's Engineering Limited.